I am going to continue on with my reviewing of the series of unfortunate events. The series is up on Netflix at the moment. I have reviewed episodes 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Both videos of them I'll put in the doobly-doo below, so if you haven't seen episodes 5 and 6, the Wade Widow, I had to write it down. I would recommend you going back and watching my other videos first so you can see where my discussion and where my brain is at the moment, and then come and we can all talk about the Wade Widow together. So yay! So guys, if I am being completely honest with you, these two videos or these two episodes were my least favourite so far. I don't know if it was just the story or what. Episodes 1 and 2 were very much introducing the story, so I got that, I was into it. Episodes 3 and 4 was more the mystery of starting up the mystery of what is the spyglass, and then finding out who killed Uncle Monty, that's the one. Oh, I've only watched it today. But I felt episodes 5 and 6 were a bit slow. This story has always been the story that I didn't get in the movie, I didn't really completely understand, and though there was some very good character moments within it, I personally didn't like the 2 episodes. I felt they were a bit slow, they were a bit draining, they were also a bit predictable, even if I hadn't seen the film already, but that could just be me. But let's get into it and let's review it as I feel we all should. The first thing that kind of daunted me was the fact that in every other episode so far we'd started with Lemony Snicket doing a monologue, whereas these episodes there was a newsroom for some reason. I don't know if that will continue, but there was a newsroom, and they're talking about the Baudelaire fire and they're giving us the usual catch up, and then Lemony Snicket obviously appears talking about the weather and how like the lake where the Baudelaire children are currently going to is always a bit, it's an off season, so it's a bit empty, there's a hurricane coming, blah 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 blah. But I would say that newsroom completely threw me, because I was so used to one thing so far with the series. However, Lemony Snicket, as good as always. There was a mention of Snicket actually when Olaf and a restaurant manager, I think this is in the episode 5, before he has taken up his disguise, actually mentions Snicket as being part of this secret organisation we're learning about, which actually made me stop for a minute and pause. I was like, ooh, I am someone who hasn't read the book, so I don't know, but in my mind Snicket has always been this outsider looking in kind of thing. He had nothing to do with anything, like he was researching them for the purpose of researching them to try and find their story, tell their story. So the fact that Olaf actually was like, someone said the most fearsome of our organisation, paraphrasing here, and then Olaf said Snicket, made me pause for a minute and be like, wait, Snicket is actually a part of this organisation the parents are with, that the aunt's with, that Uncle Monty's with. Like, things are kind of, there's a big question mark now next to Snicket as a character, but I still love him, absolutely love him, love him, love him. I don't know if it's just the way he talks, he was definitely one of my favourite characters this episode. I think he's just going to be one of my favourites all the way through. As I said, the fact that he's an actual person helps so far, and he had I think he had a monologue in episode 6 about a Venus flytrap that really intrigued me, and it was very fascinating to listen to. I could just listen to he could just tell me the story as an audiobook and I'd be very happy at this point, I think. But yeah, that was the bit I actually had, there's like question marks now next to Snicket's name. I used to think of him as just this good guy, but now he's part of the mystery, which I find very intriguing, and I love a good mystery, as anyone who knows me does, so I'm kind of trying to put the dots together. So this is very interesting and I can't wait to see how he becomes more involved. So the episode all the way through the very beginning of episode 5 is they're talking about their Aunt Jocelyn, and they had been promised that she would give them the answers, obviously. So we are with the Baudelaire children being like, how will Aunt Jocelyn give the answers? We meet her, and I think this is where I start to compare the film to the TV show, and I actually prefer the TV show's Aunt Jocelyn, because even though she's a bit eccentric, to say the word, she still has this grounded realism that I think the show has been very good to put with all the characters. There's like a grounded realism within all the characters, and I actually prefer her. She has more of a warmth than Meryl Streep did in the role. I think that also has to do with the fact I'm actually loving the kids now, as like Klaus. Oh, Klaus. I think Klaus was my favourite character of this episode, which is very surprising, I know. Violet and Sunny, like, they were my favourite characters before, but Klaus showed so much emotion in this episode, so I was very behind them. But Aunt Jocelyn, she had a believability factor. Like, in the film, I just laughed at her. I couldn't get behind why she was so skeptic, whereas there was something about the actress in this one that just made me almost sympathetic towards the Jocelyn character. And when she turned around at the end of episode 6 and was like almost like jabbing Count Olaf in the stomach, being like, no, I am going to stand up because these kids gave me courage, I was like, yes girl, yes! I literally wrote on my notes, go Jocelyn till you die. Because I knew that was going to happen, because it's the Baudelaire children. They couldn't have a happy story in only book 3 in the series, or episodes 5 and 6 if they want to make a season 2. Okay, like I said before, the series does have a sense of grounded realism. That's kind of what I think I've been trying to say through the other reviews so far. And each setting I've found has its own sense of place, where the city was very grimy but grand. It's the only way I can describe it, where the Olaf's house was grimy but grand. Uncle Monty's was very exotic because of the plants and stuff, and I find that Aunt Jocelyn was very, everything is slightly off. I mean, if you look at the door frames, the whole house is crooked, everything is just off and muted, and almost you kind of feel uneasy. So you kind of, from the beginning, I feel like you've got her sense of unease, even within just looking at the setting and looking at the house. They have like sharp corners to get up to the house, she's on a cliff, there's just everything makes you feel uneasy, which I really thought was very good character design, set design, and world design, which I now am really appreciating while watching it. See, though I didn't like the episode, I can look for positive things. See, I'm good at this, I'm trying. Okay, so Count Olaf, I need to discuss him. He was the captain. I liked his disguise, obviously not one of my favourite ones. I do prefer him as Stefano, but the accent and the fact that I thought was very smart of him, as I said, he's a smart bad guy in his own way, that last time he got caught out because of his ankle, so this time wooden leg, it just made sense. But the fact that Sunny was the one to demask him, so to speak, and his reaction was, oh wow, my leg grew back, it's a miracle, was such an Olaf line, I think, and only he could pull it off if Paul was present like he was. And I was like, see what I mean? It was kind of predictable, but in like a comedy, this is what I was expecting, thank you kind of way, but it was very, I was expecting something like that. But yeah, he was the captain, and I think he didn't have the scary factor Stefano had, but he definitely had more of an uneasy factor, which I think was the essence of these 2 episodes, was just the sense of unease, because you can tell that Aunt Jocelyn she goes around feeling uneasy. She doesn't trust anything or anyone. And obviously this is the start of the point where you need to feel uneasy, because we find out about the codes and how secret messages were formed, and it kind of, I feel this is the building blocks to something so much bigger. Like you have to start building these things in. So it makes sense that this goes in hand with unease, because the kids at the same time are kind of like, there's codes, there's secret messages, what else haven't we been told about? Can we trust anything? That's what I feel their mindset is. Which leads me on to why Klaus was my favourite character for this episode, or these 2 episodes. The boy showed so much emotion. I could almost like see his emotional, like his thought process as he tried to figure out what was going on. There's a particular scene between Violet and Klaus where they're in the library. Aunt Jocelyn has gone away and they're trying to figure out what they should do, kind of thing. And Violet is like, you have to do the scary thing before you feel scared. It was in that moment, because Klaus was almost in tears, because he was so like, that is Count Olaf. Every time I say Olaf, I just think of the snowman. But that's the Count, this is our aunt, someone's gonna get hurt. And you could tell he wanted to do the right thing, but he didn't know what the right thing was, and my heart just went out for him. One thing that's got me going through the whole Baudelaire thing is the parents. The parents, when they were flying the plane, oh no, even before that, they were talking about their honeymoon and bullets, and I was like, there's a whole other story I want to know there. What is going on? What do you mean there was bullets in your honeymoon? Like, what? That's like question marks popping up everywhere. I'm like, I need to know more about this secret organisation, because that is not a honeymoon. Honeymoons do not involve bullets. And then when they were flying the plane over the lake and they helped the kids set the fire, but they were considering whether or not they should go down and help them. I almost screamed at my iPad being like, those are your kids, just go down and we'll save the rest of the series. But I knew they wouldn't go down because we still got 2 more episodes to go, and then we've got season 2, and I'm like, it's just one of those moments where the audience knows more than the characters, and you're just emotions. But the parents, the more we're learning about them, the more I can see how these kids realistically came from them. So it's really interesting to see the parents as well, and I'm liking to slowly get to know them a bit. Like, you only see snippets, but I'm slowly getting there. I don't trust them. I'm starting to de-trust everyone bar the 3 kids, but I'm getting, there's more questions than answers, and it's really starting to bug me. Obviously we're going to get some more answers, as we saw the ending. They went off to the wood mill because that's where the picture was, but that is something I feel everyone's going to be like, there's more questions than answers, and we need some answers, please. The kids in general, the kids are becoming, as I said, I'm liking them more and more. They're using their brains, which is very interesting, and when you see, they're slowly questioning the world around them, but they know there's some allies, but it's them trying to figure out the allies. Like in the restaurant, when the waiter was like trying to put messages in the burgers, and then he asked what they were allergic to, and I thought the allergy thing was very smart. Them knowing they're allergic to, what are they allergic to? I've written it down. I just wrote, no, peppermints. Peppermints, because at the very, very beginning of episode 5, she gets peppermints and she throws them, they instantly go into a bin like 5 meters away, and I'm like, no, that's a bit unrealistic, love. But then later on we see that kind of information we got given was actually necessary, because, you know, the whole peppermints to like escape to then figure out the note was very, very smart, I found. So I was like, good writing there. I liked that. I did like that. Okay, one last thing I've got written down is they were talking about how to set a fire on the boat when the leeches were there and they were trying to eat it, and I think they were talking about how people use magnifying glasses to like burn ants, and Jocelyn says, just as a passing comment, that that's what Olaf used to do. I think what she said kind of helps prove or at least suggest the idea that he used a spyglass to start the fire, because doing that if you did it in such a way, you wouldn't have to be present kind of to set the fire, the Baudelaire fire, which caused him to try and get the money. And it also kind of gives a background to why he wants the money so badly from these kids. That's a theory. I don't know if it's actually true. Going back to, I haven't read the books. Anyway, as I said, these 2 episodes weren't my favourite of the series. I felt they were a bit lagging. They dragged on a little bit and they were a bit predictable. There were very many elements that I really enjoyed. The character development, the grounded realism, as I said, I really enjoyed. I just felt some scenes just dragged for the sake of they needed the runtime, and I didn't think there was much. There was a story, but as I said, I just feel like it was just dragged. It just dragged on and I wasn't very yay about it. Yes, there were some points that made me think and question and ask some really big who can I trust moments, but bar them, I was kind of just like, that's cool, okay then. And because of that, I think I'm going to have to grade these 2 episodes C. I'm going to give them a C. I'm going to be nice and not give them a D, but I'm going to give them a C because personally I didn't like them. They weren't my favourite. I mean, I liked them, but they weren't as good as the ones that come before, if you know what I mean. So yeah. So you tell me, did you like those 2 episodes? Did you not? Have you liked episodes have you not liked episodes I've liked? Tell me your thoughts below. I'm loving talking to you on the doobly-doo on my previous videos as well. So please give this a big thumbs up and subscribe to my channel, because there'll be one more video about the Lemony Snicket series. Then after that I will need your thoughts and opinions about what other series I should talk about. Thank you for watching and I will see you soon. Bye! Mwah!